it's such an honor to be here with you today. You know, there are so many wonderful leaders in this room who are standing up for women's rights in our families. I want to thank the National Partnership for Women and Families for promoting fairness in the workplace, reproductive health, and access to quality, affordable health care. Rosa DeLauro and Gwen Moore are also true leaders on the issue. We all care about so deeply, and they've been a real inspiration to me as a freshman member. This has been a year of anniversaries. 20 years ago, the Family and Medical Leave Act gave relief to millions of working families. 50 years ago this month, the Equal Pay Act was signed into law by President Kennedy, and this was the first victory in the struggle for equal pay. Both of these milestones show us how far we have come and what we are capable of, but also how far we still have to go. You know, as someone who went through a personal tragedy that required months of care in the hospital, I know how important it is to have a loved one by your sides in those moments. And in fact, my family counted on the FMLA when I was wounded in Iraq. My husband had to use it in order to stay by my bedside the entire time I was in the hospital. But in fact, at the end of the 12 weeks, his employer said, "You come back to work or we're going to have to hire someone to replace you." And while we as a family decided that he needed to stay by my side, I ended up spending 13 months in the hospital. We were grateful for those initial 12 weeks that allowed him to be with us, and we didn't have to worry about his job because we knew it would be there. The irony of the situation is that my husband was working for the Department of Defense at the time, training military officers. And these are the same people who fired him to come sit by my bedside after I had been wounded in combat. And so we have a long way to go. The Family Medical Leave Act allows a worker to take leave to care for a sick family member, care for a newborn child, and more recently, very close to my heart, to help deal with the deployment of a family member in the military. This act stands up for women, it stands up for families, and it stands up for our brave men and women who wear the uniform. We should celebrate what this law accomplished 20 years ago. But we need to work to expand it so that Americans can also benefit from paid family and medical leave. And 50 years ago, women only made 59 cents for every dollar that a man makes. When President Kennedy signed the Equal Pay Act into law, he said that when women enter the labor force, they will find equality in their pay envelopes. That has yet to happen. The Equal Pay Act has made a difference. Today, women make 77 cents on every dollar that a man makes, but all of us here know that we can do better. During my service in the Army, I earned 100 cents for every dollar that a man makes because this policy has helped to make our military the best in the world. Yet when women leave the military and go into the civilian world, they take a 25% pay cut immediately because of the pay gap. And this contributes to homelessness among female veterans. We need equal pay so that our working families can achieve the American dream and so that we can compete in a global economy. Rosa has introduced a Paycheck Fairness Act, which would prevent women who stand up for the right to equal pay from being retaliated against. Gwen and I have co-sponsored this legislation, and we need to get it passed so women have the ability to stand up for what they deserve. Our country and our families will never reach their full potential without equal pay and without an expanded Family and Medical Leave Act. We will never reach full equality until all Americans have access to quality health care and all women have access to reproductive health. Working families are the backbone of this country, and my colleagues and I should judge our work by how much we are able to accomplish for these families. Now it's time for all of us to get back to work, making the American dream accessible to all Americans. I ask you tonight when you go home and when you go into and you crawl into bed to please keep our men and women who are in harm's way this day and for the next many days ahead of them. God bless them, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.